It is the Happy Camper Radio Show. Hello, everybody. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no question about it, my friends. You hang around with us. I promise we're going to make a happy camper out of you. It's episode 223, and on the program today, we almost have a full studio. Daniel, how you doing today?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, and guess who else is joining us? He's in town this week. Brother-in-law Luke, how you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Brother-in-law, yeah, I said that deliberately to make me sound young. Son-in-law Luke, yeah, he is great. He is great to do camping and you name it. We're going to be talking about a good episode today. If you ever thought about going out there in the cold and bringing your gear and trying to take in a day of camping, you know, this is the show we're going to be talking about. Hang around for it. And the Happy Camper Radio Show can be heard all around the world by great listeners like yourself. You can find us in the iTunes Store and Podbean, Myra Guide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Spotify, and now on Amazon Music. Tell all your friends to tune into Happy Camper Radio today. You can find us on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, Daniel, it's starting to warm up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think. All right, we're still feeling a little cold here in the evening hours. And Luke, you put some great fire in the fireplace here the other night.
Sure did.
And surprised you had it going in the morning too.
Mm-hmm.
You must have had the chills, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, now you are now residing where?
Currently up in Tennessee, Knoxville. But looking to move up closer to the Smoky Mountains, looking all this week for purchasing a cabin.
Okay. And once you do that, I can promise you, me and Betty are going to be up there to pay you a visit.
Great. Can't wait.
So, yeah, it's going to be an awesome time. And it's really, about a 4.5 hour drive out of Atlanta?
About 4 hours.
Okay. All right. So, and Daniel, and I know you just can't sit still for a minute. You will probably,
I'm a little slower during the winter, but it's coming. I'm getting the itch to get out there.
And you love that area too.
Oh yeah, I love Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and all that jazz. All the hiking and all the outdoor activities and stuff, and caves and everything. It's been years since I was in Gatlinburg, but I will never ever forget the drive up there. Yeah, and and Luke, you probably can attest to this because you have been you've been down that road before too. The drive between Cherokee, North Carolina.
I love that stretch of road.
Okay.
Newfound Gap, I believe it's called.
Newfound Gap. Okay, yeah. And that's the trip. There's like about a 30-mile stretch of wilderness. Nothing in there. No gas stations, no convenience stores, nothing like that.
I think that's the Smoky Mountains.
So in other words, isn't there a sign out there that says you got to gas up before you get into Gatlinburg?
Maybe, but I know you're going through Smoky Mountains National Forest, and it's the most visited forest or national park in the country, and they try to keep it as natural as possible. So they don't want anything there. They want it as natural as possible. So yeah, you really get to experience what that area was like before all of civilization moved in, and it's a really cool sight to see.
Yeah, just give you an idea how far back I'm going to go. My kids were much younger then. The better half she was still around at that particular time, and we had the mother-in-law, and we were driving through there, and back then we had an old TV set with a VCR built into it, and the kids had that in the back seat, and I think they were watching the movie Dunstan.
I don't think I've seen that.
We had a plug going all the way to the front end of the cigarette lighter so they could watch that.
Ooh,
but halfway through that drive into Gatlinburg, and we got a very late start. Of course, we had the ladies there, and they had to, get all their stuff together. But all the way through there, we stopped halfway somewhere because there was something up in the road, and I didn't know what it was, and it wasn't scaring, and it just taking us good old time. But it ended up being a gray wolf.
Oh boy!
Wow,
that's exciting.
That was the most memorable moment of that trip, and I didn't have my camera ready.
Oh,
of course, we weren't expecting it either. So
well, there's some great views up there for sure. And speaking of it being part of the Great Smoky National Park. It does cut directly through the middle of the park. Bit of information trivia is that the governments of Tennessee and North Carolina have negotiated with the national government. I forget the exact details of it, but they've made an agreement to keep that road. No tolls can be placed on that road. The states wanted to make sure that people could drive through there freely, or it might have been the other way around. The federal government made that agreement, but there's an agreement made that they can't put any tolls on that road.
Okay, but I don't remember exactly the time of the year it was, but it was just an awesome time. And once we got there and got settled in, the next day I went my way and the girls went their way, and I just had a fun time all by myself. just had a great time. And just talking about it with you right now just makes me want to get in the truck and head up that way.
Well, come on up.
Yeah, I'm going to. Just let me know when you get that.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much gotten over. I know they had some fires a few years ago, and that really took a toll on them. But I think they're built back, and ready to go. And I know COVID and everything hit them pretty hard, but I think it's almost 100% right now.
I actually came and I had a cabin rented about a week after those fires came through, and so I drove through Newfound Gap, and I could see several downed trees along the road in the Gap. The city of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, downtown areas were basically unaffected. I know it affected a lot of residents around there in the houses in the surrounding area, and actually had to call the cabin company I rented from to ensure that the cabin I was going to still existed, and it did. But yeah, they've pretty well recovered from it.
Well, camping up in that type of environment this time of year is probably not going to be for everybody. I know there's probably some snow still on the ground. I don't know anywhere in Tennessee right now, but I'm sure up north, my brother Rick sends me pictures all the time showing me just how cold it is and just how much fun they're having out in the snow.
Yeah. But Gary is not that far away from Gatlinburg. He's about an hour or so away, and they had 9 inches just a couple weeks ago, and they've been pounded like crazy. It seems like everywhere but Georgia is getting hit hard and often. So I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff up there still.
Historically, Georgia gets hit with maybe an inch of snow one day.
Yep.
And the next day, it's back to normal.
Pretty much.
It just disappears, and you get out there and you have fun. People still try to drive in that type of weather, the roads freeze up and car crashes left and right. I mean, I've seen it so many times in all the years I've been here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's when you want to stay inside and you want to put a nice log on the fire. But if you're interested in going out, and I'm sure, and I want to talk about this a little bit today on the program, because I don't care how much summertime camping and springtime camping you do, I'm sure in just about everybody's mind, somewhere, you're thinking about the idea of going out and just trying one time to take your gear out in the cold weather and go camping. Have you thought about that when you were much younger, Daniel?
Yeah, the thing about winter camping is there's no bugs. I think that's the biggest plus of winter camping. And, as long as you have enough layers or whatever, and you know what you need to have, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. I mean, there are different things you can do in the winter that you can't do in the summer. Like if you go somewhere that's snowy, I mean, there's all the snow things you can do. And, in the wintertime, it's just a new environment. So, for instance, if you go up to the mountain, to the east side mountains, you can see a lot more. There's not the canopy of greenery everywhere, and you can see for miles and miles, and it's just a totally different landscape than it would be in fall or summer or spring. So it's just a different perspective. And say you've been camping in the summer, say somewhere like we were talking about in Gatlinburg, it's day and night as far as winter and summer, as far as the experience and what it looks like and everything. So I mean, I think winter is just a different perspective on the environment. And I think it's really cool to experience that.
Right. And, and I'm sure a lot of our spring and summertime campers who will want to try it for at least one night, is not going to go out and buy all the massive gear that, say, somebody who camps regularly in the winter will go out and do. But, the key here, and I have done this, and I'm speaking from experience because I have camped probably in the coldest environment there is. And I can remember being prepared, and I remember days that I weren't prepared as much as I really wanted to. But the key here is if you're going to go ahead out and try the wintertime camping just once, you're going to want to concentrate the whole time on warmth.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to want to make sure, like you say, you have all the layers.
Yep.
And, if you're not going to go buy a whole lot of gear, I can recommend, and Luke, you've walked into my tent already once when it was cold outside over at Stone Mountain Park. All right, get one of those little buddy heaters. They're not much. You get the medium one. You don't have to get the big one.
Yeah.
All right. And just make sure that you keep your, a little window in your tent cracked a little bit for ventilation. But that little buddy heater, I swear, will warm your tent up. And if you're out there and you get a little bit too cold and you want to warm up, just go ahead inside the tent.
Well, that's another thing about winter camping because, you see so many people in the summer, they'll be out there and they'll have a fire and it's like 80 degrees at night and they have a fire and they're, in front of the fire and you're like, yeah, it's cool for ambiance and stuff or whatever, marshmallows, whatever. But like in the winter and fall and stuff, like a fire makes so much more sense and it's so much more logical because, it's kind of cool. You get in the warmth and it's just a different feeling. I think it feels so much better to have a fire in the fall or winter as opposed to the summer because like the summer, it's just all about ambiance or if you're cooking something. But in the winter, it's justified. It's there for a reason. You want to warm up by the fire, So it's so much better in that time, in that kind of weather, I think.
Skip and Daniel.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Daniel, one of the things I want to mention also that if you're going to use a little buddy heater, definitely bring that 20-pound propane tank and make sure you have a cable or a hose, should I say, to go along with that because I have used them probably the very first time out of the box, and I thought maybe 4 of those little 1-pound disposable containers would work. And you'll be up like every 2 or 3 hours just changing those things out. But if you have a fully loaded 20-pound tank, that'll last you your whole trip. And you could probably run a day and night.
Yep.
So, yeah, that to me is going to be the key. And don't bring cold cuts. All right. You want to talk about being warm. And here's the king of cooking outdoors right here next to me, Luke. Luke, you come up with some of the most awesome menus that I really wish that you would be around just about any time that I do some cold weather camping.
Well, at home for sure, I'll definitely get creative with cooking, but whenever I'm out backpacking, I pretty much stick to the freeze-dried meals for the most part for the sake of weight and portability.
Well, you're talking backpacking. Yeah, you got the guy here right in the studio with you because we have talked on several occasions that I am not the one person who is going to go out and do a lot of hiking. When I get there, I stay put. And, for camping in this type of environment right now, you're going to keep logs on the fire pretty much day and night.
As Daniel said, the fire that's probably one of the most appealing things to me about cold weather camping is, like he said, it feels a whole lot different when it's freezing out and you're huddled up around the fire. It just feels really nice.
Yeah, and that's going to be a key also, too, that, if you're going to go out in this type of environment, and even if it's just for a night, just to try it out, you're going to want to make sure that you have a good supply of firewood handy. And, if you have the room to throw all those logs in the hatchback or, like myself, I've had a pickup truck all my life. And I make sure that the bed of that truck is just loaded up with firewood because I will go through a lot of it. And, it's just an environment that I just got to be in every now and then. Sometimes when I'm here at home and I'm laying in bed, I just thinking, wow, what would it be like if I was just out there? Would I sleep better tonight? You better believe it.
And they also have the fact like like you have all these sleeping apps or whatever and sound machines, but like one of my favorite things to sleep by is the sound of the fire. It's so peaceful and so relaxing. And that's just like another thing about, cold weather camping. You have the sounds of summer and you have the sounds of winter, and it's totally different. I mean, like, I can't describe the sound of snow falling from the sky, but it's the most peaceful sound that I can think of. And the sound of the fire with the snow falling, it's just the most peaceful thing I can think of. So, I mean, it's just a different world, really.
Well, you got to make sure that you're way off the highway if you're going to hear the snow falling off, and landing on the ground and on the trees, because the last thing you need is to hear cars running by, or maybe even a.
Oh boy!
Oh my heavens! Listen to that.
There's a fire in the background. Let's see. Let me turn that part up.
That's a fire?
No, that's a combination of whistling blizzard and crackling fire. It's one of the sleep aids I'll put on sometimes.
Ooh, that is nice. See,
you can mix.
What I'm talking about.
You can mix and match. Crackling fire, I always have that in there. And then sometimes either thunderstorms or blizzard or whatever.
Well, typically for safety reasons, your tent is going to be away from your fire. And, you're not going to be able to hear it out there, and unless there's a big blazing fire, of course, and you probably have a lot of people who are still up talking.
Yep.
So that's going to drown that out. But for myself personally, the babbling brook, sleeping right next to the babbling brook is what really works for me. And unlike you guys, I mean, I try not to take my electronics with me when I go camping, and I mean, I got to stick with the natural stuff.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, there it is. I mean, you pretty much, if you're going to go out there and do some camping in the fall and the winter time when it's cold, you really don't have to buy all that gear if you're not going to be doing it regularly. I mean, they do make some really expensive gear for that type of season. But the whole key is preparation beforehand. Make sure you bring enough warm clothes and definitely some warm socks. For myself, my feet will freeze real quick, and I got to make sure I've got to have some warm socks and the right type of footwear when I go camping.
I would say Merino Wool socks are really good, and I
never heard of them.
It's a type of fabric, and those are really good. I would probably have probably an underlayer of that, and what a lot of people do, and Luke probably knows this, they'll tie bags, like Walmart bags, over their feet at night, and that it's just kind of a trick. Or I've seen like Wonder Bread bags, and they'll put that on their feet, and that keeps them really warm. And there's just little different tricks and stuff. But as far as if you want to do this outside thing, there are camping groups on Facebook, and get with friends if they have stuff you want to borrow, just to see if you can do it. And I know REI has programs where you could rent the stuff. So if you want to dabble and you don't want to buy the expensive stuff like you're saying, you can always rent from, I know, REI or different places, and just check it out. Just check out winter camping rentals and see what's out there, and just experiment and see if this is your thing or not.
And I'll tell you something else too. Don't overlook the wildlife in this type of environment too. Because, the deer, the bear, the rabbits, the birds, they don't take a break anytime during the year. They're always going to be out there. Mm-hmm. And, especially if you've got some snow on the ground and you can see them from a distance, that is just the most, relaxing feeling that there is. I have been on a number of camping trips, public and private campgrounds, where right in the middle of the day, here comes a herd of deer, and they're just walking on through there, and they're not bothered by you being there. And you just stop whatever you're doing and just take in that environment. Make sure you've got your camera handy with you, because as we talked about on the last time on the show, we want to bring our memories back with us.
Well, I wanted to touch on something that Daniel said about the merino wool. I highly agree with that. Large amount of my hiking, backpacking clothing is merino wool. That, or just plain wool, or also synthetic wool. I'm currently wearing some Smart Wool socks. It's a brand of synthetic wool. Those all work well. A couple of the benefits of that are the wool, as opposed to cotton. If you get wet in the winter, it's going to be wet and uncomfortable, but it'll still keep you warm. It'll keep you from getting hypothermia. Cotton, on the other hand, will get you really cold. So even if the wool is wet, it will still keep you warm, and you won't be comfortable, but it'll keep you from getting hypothermia and dying. It also dries out more quickly than cotton. And the merino wool, I use it not just for winter and cold weather camping, but even in the summer. I have some merino wool t-shirts that I use for warm weather camping as well. Another benefit of them is they're naturally absorbent of odor, so you can wear them for a lot longer before you start stinking.
Oh, my. I could tell you on many occasions where I have had to take some clothing and put it by the fire to actually warm it up. So you have those resources out there, and you can use them up anytime that you decide you're going to go camping.
Yeah, the only downside is that they're pretty pricey. I mean, those merino t-shirts I have, they run $70 to $80 a piece for a t-shirt.
Well, I would say as far as socks, I mean, like Luke said, that's pretty pricey, but there's another brand, it's called Darn Tough, and they're really good. And the thing about Darn Tough is, like, they're, obviously darn tough, but if you get a hole in them or something, they'll give you a free pair. So you buy 5-10 pairs of that. Technically, you never have to buy socks again for the rest of your life. So, I mean, a lot of people don't do that, but some people do. And, it's quality. So, I mean, and I know Skip is a big fan of quality. And in my opinion, I think like a deal like that with Darn Tough, and I've heard of Smart Wool, which are really good, but Darn Tough, you can pretty much have a set of socks for the rest of your life if you keep up with, sending them back in when they get a hole and stuff.
Daniel, that's exactly what I did. These Smart Wool socks I'm wearing now, I've had these for forever, but I've actually switched over to Darn Wool as my favorite pair of socks, and I did exactly that. I bought a couple pair just for camping, and I liked them so much that I went out and bought 8 more pairs of them. So I have 10 pairs of the socks that are my daily socks I wear every day. And like you said, they have lifetime guarantee on them. If they fall apart, they're expensive at $20 a piece, but if you consider that they last for the rest of your life potentially, it's a pretty good deal.
We got a mistaken email about a year ago. I think his wife meant to send the email to him or the text message and sent it to me and says, "Your socks are here." And were those the socks, Daniel, you were talking about?
I don't remember that.
Oh, my heavens, yeah. But, I'll tell you, I don't know if I would go that far as to spend that kind of money for socks. But, if you never know.
Yep.
You just never know.
I'm going to get you some, Skip. You'll see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What? Hey, you say they're expensive?
I mean,
and you're going to get them from me. You are generous.
$20. Yeah.
You're a very generous guy. I mean, normally I buy Walmart socks.
Well,
just to get me through the day.
Not to toot REI's horn or anything, but so me and the wife have a REI credit card, and REI is a co-op, and so if you become a member or whatever, you get a credit card, they give you a dividend like every March. So based on however much you spent or however much you put on the credit card or whatever, they'll give you whatever back. Like I think last year I got like $80 back, and so I bought a really nice camping pillow, which it was like a Cedar Summit pillow, and it's really good and really quality. And once you get, I'm going to tell you this, once you get quality, you realize that it is worth the price. So, and I've gotten a bunch of pairs of those Darn Toughs, and I think it's worth the price. So, I mean, you're all about quality, Skip. So, I mean, and the stuff that me and Luke are talking about are quality. I think it's worth the price.
Well, I built up broadcast gear over the years. I built up camping gear over the years. And, just every time I go down to the shed and I see it down there, I say, I'm ready to go camping. And I just need to get out a little bit more. I say that each and every year. Mm-hmm. But I don't really care what time of the year it is. I don't care what time of the, whatever it is, I'm ready to go. It's just a matter of throwing the gear in the car or should I say throwing the gear in the truck and head on out. But there's going to be another camping trip coming up, and it's probably going to be a little bit chilly, and that's okay because, like I say, I bring the wood, I bring everything I need for preparation. And, you can always go online and find out what the 7-day forecast is wherever you're going to go. Just pop that zip code in there. And, that's going to be on the NOAA website there. And just go ahead, you can pull it up there, pop in your zip code, and it'll give you the 7-day forecast. And I can't say it's going to always be accurate, because I don't think there's ever been a meteorologist anywhere that I have ever come across who was able to give us an accurate forecast. But, that's exactly what it's called. It's called a forecast. You're looking ahead and hoping for the best. And all it's going to take is one day of rain to ruin my trip. And I've had many trips where I had to bring my gear back and dry it out and put it all away and get ready for the next trip. But hopefully that's not going to happen again anytime soon. I'm really looking forward to the next camping trip, and hopefully we can get out there and make the absolute best of it. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio.
Daniel, speaking of warmth, let's go to the sunny state of Florida.
Ooh, I love Florida.
Okay. I mean, I'm done talking about cold weather camping for a moment here. I want to go someplace where it's warm. And if you're down in the Florida area, consider the National Forest area of Florida, the Clearwater Lake Recreation Area. The Clearwater Lake Recreation Area offers a quiet getaway along the southeastern edge of the Ocala National Forest, just outside the community of Paisley, Florida, with a shady campground, day-use picnic area, beach, and nature trail that winds all through the piney woods and scrubs around Clearwater Lake. This facility has plenty of activities to keep campers occupied. The Ocala National Forest in north central Florida spans about 4 counties and 383,000 acres. You're not going to do much hiking in that area, Daniel.
And they do have the Florida Trail, so there's hiking.
Well, yeah,
it's a different kind of hiking.
If you come back and you tell me you've hiked 383,000 acres, we're going to do a big episode on that show. I want to hear all about it. It's the southernmost and oldest national forest east of the Mississippi River and protects the world's largest contiguous sand pine scrub forest. Check out all the information right there on their website. And, definitely look at the know before you go items. There are plenty of them there. And if you happen to be down in the Florida area or plan on going that way, there are plenty of great camping opportunities year-round. And you don't have to worry about it being too cold outside. But just like in any state, you're probably going to have firewood for sale, and you're going to go ahead and warm that campfire up, and you're just going to make it as best you possibly can. And speaking of firewood, help protect our forest, prevent the spread of tree-killing pests by obtaining firewood at or near your destination and burning it on site. For more information, visit don'tmovefirewood.org. Here's a great opportunity to go camping down in Florida. It's near Paisley, Florida. It's the Clearwater Lake Recreation Area, and it is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel on HappyCamperRadio.com.
And if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at HappyCamperRadio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. Luke, it is always a pleasure having you here on the show, and hope you're going to get back soon. You're going to get that property up there in Tennessee.
I sure hope so.
Send a bunch of pictures, because we definitely want to take a look at it. And that's going to wrap up this edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. And Daddy, we got him out of bed here.
Hey, we did.
No, we'll take it back. I think he got me out of bed this morning.
I got you out of bed
to get this show on the road. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel's a happy camper. Luke's a happy camper. And everybody else out there that's in tune to this program is a happy camper too. Talk to you again real soon. Have a good one, everybody. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.